Thank you for joining me here today on the Calm Waves podcast. I'm so excited. I am joined by Shane Ray today. Thank you so much for joining me. I love that how we met. I'm just going to go a little bit into how we met, right into it. I was invited to an event called PAC, Pro Athlete Community, and it was a great event. And we got paired together at Greyhawk Golf Course here in Phoenix. And let me ask you this, Shane. Before we met, have you ever played golf before?
Like just a couple times, like literally the same situation, like the team golfing outing, with the Broncos, and maybe like one or two other times with the guys just going out there. But no, I don't golf.
So my experience with Shane as we got out there, and Greyhawk's not an easy course. So I'm going to give that right away. Greyhawk, if you look it up, it's not an easy course to play. The NCAA plays their championship games there for the national championship. But Shane was the most dedicated, like, I'm going to learn how to do this well.
Yeah.
Golf can be a very demoralizing sport where you're like, oh, I can't make contact or these types of things. Or even when you do make contact, like it doesn't go where you want it to go.
Mm-hmm.
But from the first swing you made to the last swing you made was a huge improvement in your own life. So, and I do have to say, I just interviewed CJ yesterday, who's also in our group, and it was one of the most fun rounds of golf I have ever had. So you know,
we had a blast.
I laughed so hard. So anyway, so that's how we met. And then, through just conversations, I was like, I want to interview him for our podcast. So a little bit about, for those who don't know who Shane is, University of Missouri.
Yes, sir.
First round draft choice. Broncos won a, I almost said World Series, Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
Super Bowl for the Broncos. Tell me a little bit about you and just like kind of your origin story of, from, high school to college. Like, tell me a little bit about your journey.
Yeah. For me, I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, and early on, it just like sports wasn't just like, it just wasn't in my life. And my mom raised me by herself in the inner city, just kind of like, trying to find some outlet for me, to make it out and make it somewhere. And football ended up being that vehicle for me. She got me hooked up with my little league team, and, a lot of the players from my little league team, we all decided to go to the same high school. By my junior year, we won the state championship. And by the end of that year, I was getting like my first offers from Mizzou and, other teams in the Big 12 at that time. And for me, it was just like a journey of just transforming myself, man. Like, early on, like, hit my growth spurt. And I tell people the story all the time. Like, I started out on like freshman B team. And it was, for me, all the guys that was from my little league team that also went to high school with me, those guys were playing varsity as freshmen. So for me to be on like freshman B team and then all my boys on varsity, it was like, all right, I don't like this. Like, what's going on? And I just remember coming home one day from school and talking to my mom and being like, after my freshman year summer, I was like, I'm going to change my body. I'm going to start training, and, this is just what I'm going to do. And I want you to buy, like, I asked her to buy me some a weight set from Walmart. So she bought me like, these dumbbell sets and these plates and, full of sand and, those things, and put it in my basement. And like for a whole summer, I just lifting weights, training, and not really knowing what I was going to turn into or anything like that. I didn't like losing and being in last place. And I just felt like if they could do it, I could do it. So I just, from that point on, man, it just something just woke up in me that I just continued to like grind and work. And by my junior year, like, I had a growth spurt and started feeling into my body, and things just started happening. And I was a kid that I would say, like, out of all the like really talented guys on my team, like early on, you might not have thought it was going to be me, but I just kept getting better, and I just kept getting better and developing and getting better. And by my junior year, like I said, I had those offers. I committed to Missouri, and I get up there and it's like the same thing all over again. I'm in a room full of like a super competitive culture, especially with our defensive line group. super competitive defensive line group with a lot of first rounders, second rounders, guys that have played in the league for many years. And when you get there and you're in that type of group, it's like, football is a dog eat dog world, and nobody wants to be the run of the litter. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Getting up to Missouri, I had to just keep that same mentality of grinding and getting better and developing and finding what my personal talents were and evolving those talents. And it was like the same process. You go through, I would say, failures and hardships, and you're not the highest recruited, or, you felt like you should have been in, looked at as this or whatever. And it just builds these fires, it builds these motivations. And I was blessed to come from a situation where I had tons of motivation, whether it was making it out of Kansas City, and being the first person in my family to have a full ride scholarship to go to college. My mom went to college, but like out of her brothers and sisters, nobody else was able to do that out of 5 kids. It was a lot of motivators, for me in that aspect, but also just me wanting to be better. Like when people would say I couldn't do something or anything like that, it would just drive me, man. Like I don't know what it is. It's like, if I could describe it to people, it's like a feeling that I've always had that I feel like is like in the center, like in my sternum. And it's like when I'm challenged to feel like I'm in a situation where there's doubters or I got to prove myself, it's like it lights up and I just go at it. I run into it. And that's just carried me, from going to Missouri to, eventually breaking Missouri's single season sack record when I had the opportunity to finally, start and work my way up to first team All American to, first round draft pick to Super Bowl champion. It was just something that I just continued to want to grow, and I wanted to get better and better and better. And I do think it's one of those things to where I felt that, they say there's people that are born with talent, and sometimes they don't train and work, and that talent doesn't develop. Then there's people who are maybe born with a skill set or whatever, but they have to train and whatever. I think I was like a combination of both, right? I didn't even know the skills that I had because I really didn't know too many other athletes or, people of that nature for me to even understand what I was really capable of doing. But I will say that I worked at every little thing to get bigger, to get faster. I was skinny early on going into my college career, and I had to put on weight. So I'm coming in playing defensive end in the SEC. I reported at 225. Those guys are 250 pounds, 245 pounds. I didn't reach 240 pounds until my junior year at Missouri when I was about to leave to come out for the draft. So, it's always been like a battle, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're too small, you got to get bigger, you got to get faster. I heard it, I heard those things, but I just never embraced it. Like, I just always felt that there was another level that I could get to. Like, there was always something else. And even in my failures and, what I call my failures, I feel like, it's just been, I just refuse to lose to whatever. I don't know what it
Hmm.
is, and I don't know what it like. It may come off weird as like, I'm in this competition with the world or something
Hmm.
like that, and I think we all are, like, in some type of
Yeah.
way. Like, we're on our own race, right? And we have all these things in life that are gonna like come at you, even outside of sports. Like life stuff, sports, family stuff, whatever. And you're going to face what I've grown to realize is you're going to face failures and you're going to face these realities. And the thing is, what I've heard now and learned now is that you can't be afraid of the failure, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
In those moments are what show you who you really are and where you might need to grow. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not always necessarily a bad thing to have to realize, oh, I need to grow in this area. Like, I need to build here. Because for me, that's what it's always been. Okay, I'm too small. All right, I got to get my weight up.
Hmm.
Oh, I got to
Yeah.
get my speed up. Okay, I got to get a speed coach. Okay, I got to get my diet better. Okay, I got to, so it's essentially the same thing in all aspects of life, right? Whether you're trying to get this new job or whatever and you meet this failure, like, okay, all right, what do I got to get better? Like, all right, this happened. Yeah, it sucked. on to the next. I feel like in my life, my young life, right, that I've faced a lot of adversity. I've been blessed to face a lot of adversity that somebody at my age probably wouldn't have to deal with, and that's from
Yeah.
an early age on to now. From losing relatives to gun violence to living situation. Me and my mom being homeless for a short period of time and
Mm.
moving in with friends and just all these type of things, right? But no one's gonna be like, oh, boo hoo, like, it's like, okay, what are you gonna make of your situation? And to go through all those things and also the adversities that football bring you, it just kind of instills something in me, like just a no quit attitude, right? It's like you might get knocked down, it may suck for a minute, but like, what are you made of? Like, are you gonna lay there? Are you gonna take it? Like, let me find where I may be weak in maybe my thought process or maybe how I'm viewing things, maybe my perspective just on a whole situation. These are all things that we have the ability and the choice to grow in every day. And if you don't, it's like, okay, you're doing yourself a disservice. And a lot of people don't take the time to look objectively outside of life because we're always our schedules and in our,
Mm-hmm.
you know, situations. But when it comes down to it and you have to really like look inside and be like, okay, if I was to lose it all, which for me, I felt like, I lost a lot,
Mm-hmm.
especially, from my football career getting injured,
Mm-hmm.
what I had to go through with that and not really feeling like, I was able to reach the potential I felt like I could have reached. It's like, okay, what do you do with those emotions?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, to combat those emotions, to feeling like maybe, what it could have been or whatever, it's like I just continue to work. Like I always tell myself, okay, well, what I do have control of is my attitude, my ability to wake up every day and continue to go after it. And if I can wake up every day and grind and be happy with the results, knowing that I gave it all that I could, then I can truly live with that.
Mm-hmm.
I could truly live with that. I could be at peace. If it came down to me questioning myself on if I really dug in and in the situation, did I really put the best foot forth? And there's questions, then no, I couldn't live with that. But that's easy to say when, okay, after my going into my fifth year, I'm out of the league, I'm still injured, and then there's 4 years of me not being in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
How many people are willing to work 365 times four?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And and
Yeah.
and it I think that it comes to that, man. I had to sit in, okay, all right, am I at peace with where I'm at, or do I want to continue to fight? Like, do I want to keep going? I've just dedicated, my life to the continual growth, and like whatever it is at this race, I've been able to accomplish a lot of amazing, incredible things that I never thought that I would even be able to do. So who's to say what else is possible or next for me with, the same type of dedication and, continuing to try to grow. So, that's where I live my life, Dallas, man. I figured
I
it out.
love it. I love it. So what I hear a lot, then thank you for sharing that, because that was so good. Because I think from, an outside person's point of view, you brought up some really important points of like failures, which is, but you didn't stop. So you had, freshman year B team. You had showing up the zoo underweight.
Mm-hmm.
But you took those things as not as, oh, this is telling me to stop, but this is telling me how I can improve and work at that.
Right.
I think for a lot of people out there, including myself, we can be able to see those failures and go, this is someone telling me I need to stop this. This is somebody that I need to like not do this. But you had, whether it's from, kind of like your tenacity to go, no, I can be better than this. Or, oh, if I just work at this, I'm going to be better. That's how you took it. Let me ask you this, because I think environment is super important,
Mm-hmm.
being able around you. When you were at Mizzou or you were in high school, did you have a coach or people that were able to, or your mom, or like, who were the people around you, or did you have people around you
Mm-hmm.
that were able to be like, hey, keep going? hey, keep going? Or was it an internal motivation?
I really think I got a lot of the motivation from my mom. Coming from Kansas City and a family full of five, being the baby and, being the first one to go to college, get her master's degree. My mom has been super successful. She's owned her own restaurant business, all type of things. To say all of the great stuff that she's done, that's not to say that there wasn't a lot of hardships, right? Like I mentioned, she had got divorced. We were homeless for a little while, trying to figure out where we're going to be next, and just stuff like that. The restaurant business failed, all those things. What I can say in all of that, like my mom never gave up. She always made sure that I had everything that I needed. She always made sure I was at practice. Always was supporting me, even through all my hard stuff, and not having my dad around. Like my mom was my mom and my dad. And even with her chasing her dreams and doing stuff that a lot of people that grew up around her have never done, she just always exposed me to what could be, right? Like from an early age, she was taking me to eat different places and different foods. And when she would have meetings with her coworkers that were in IT and stuff like that, I would be around. I would be around, these adults that were in all these different settings and situations. And my mom always made sure of that. So I think for me, as a kid, you might not realize how that affects you, but as an adult now, I look on my hardships and I'm like, I went about that like I felt like my mom did, all the things that she went through, right? Yeah, some stuff really sucks, like getting injured and all of that stuff that came after that. Yeah, that sucked, and it was really, 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 really hard. And I'm not going to act like it didn't take a lot of growth and a lot of, searching for knowledge and a lot of searching to understand a lot of things. But I was able to put one foot after the other, keep going, keep my mind right. And I think my mom has always just kind of been in my ear with that, from an early age, like from high school, for example. Like I told you, I wasn't really the kid that everybody was like, oh, he's going to be the 5-star, right? But my mom, every day we would drive to school and she would say stuff to me, be like, today, what are we going to school for? And the reply would be free college, right? We don't know what free college, but we would say this every day. She'd be like, what's the goal? Free college, mom. What's the goal? Free college, mom, free college. Like, annoyed, you know what I'm saying? But that's every single day my mom would say that to me. You know what I'm saying? So when I get my first full ride scholarship from Missouri, we thought that I was gonna go to Benedictine Division II. You know what I'm saying? We're literally we're hoping for whatever community college. Once I started getting D1 offers, it was like, whoa, it was huge. It was a big deal. Like my mom has always been that type of person. Even when I got to Missouri, just the support that she had, obviously being not too far from home, in an hour and a half drive. So my mom, whether it was bringing up food for me and my roommates and helping us out, because she's a chef, so she can cook like no other. So make sure we always have food, and I mean took care of everybody. So she's always been there. And going into the league, man, she was even my business manager. My mom helped me see through everything. And not everybody's mom is like that. So I know that I'm pretty blessed to, have a mom that took the time to really invest in me. You know what I'm saying? That's huge. But she's definitely the pioneer of what I feel like is okay. This is, as a man, okay, it's going to get rough. It's going to get hard. Stuff happens. All right. What makes you is who you are after this. Right. And, I just, through everything, I didn't start with that mindset necessarily, but I've definitely developed it. And once it got there, I continue to build that mindset and can build things around me to support my schedule, support me training how I train every day still for all this time. I wake up and I go train every day, regardless, and make sure that physically I'm ready because, there's a time after I got hurt, I was in Baltimore and being injured, dealing with the things that I was dealing with life issues and stuff like that. I wasn't in the best shape that I should have been in. And after getting cut by Baltimore and having workouts, I felt like I was unprepared for those workouts, right? Like I wasn't in the shape that I should have been in. And that's another moment for me that I look at it as like, okay, that those were failures, but those failures taught me to like, I will never feel unprepared again, right? I will never feel like I didn't do enough to be ready for an opportunity, whether that's in life, in football, or whatever it is, it's something I'm chasing. So that's why I get up and I train every day and I make sure I still eat right. I still run, even though I don't want to sometimes. And I just don't want to wake up and I get a call to be like, hey, we got this opportunity for you, even now at 31, and not be ready. And that's a real, like, if you haven't felt that type of fear or felt that type of feeling of, wow, I had an opportunity and because I didn't do what I could have done on my end and it's gone, that's a moment that will stay with you,
Yes.
you know? So
I had that moment, not at that high of a level, but like what ingrains in my head is playing college baseball my senior year. And I believe my senior year, I was like, hey, I'm good enough to be starting outfielder for the college I was at. But I had a coach come in, I had some coaching stuff happen, and a new coach came in and he sat me down and he said, I don't think you're good enough to play in the outfield. We're going to bring in some freshmen that are going to play over you. And the thing that I wish I would have done, but didn't, is I believed it. And I said, yep, you're right. And I became a pitcher. And, I pitched a little bit. And so I did that. But looking back on that, that's probably my biggest regret that I have
mm-hmm.
of believing somebody saying something about me and not being able to push back and say, no, I will be better than this. And
Yeah.
our outfield was awful. Like, they were awful. I almost got to play the outfield just because they were so bad. So that was and I stay with that. That moment stays with me. Is I believed something negative about myself that somebody else was saying about me. And I didn't say, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to go, and because he just saw that. And so all that to say,
Right.
I wish I had that more tenacity, but again, going back to your point about remembering certain points in your life that are like, I'm going to take this and hold on to this for the rest of my life.
Right.
So now I don't believe anybody. I go, no, I know what we're capable of doing. I know,
Yeah.
I mean, with Calm Waves, I mean, like the fact that I'm like talking to you right now is because of tenacity. We've been told no so many times about your products aren't, no one's going to do this, no one's going to want this, all these different things. So that is a moment that is in my mind that I hold that I'm not going to believe them. So it sounds like for you, you embodied that.
Absolutely. Yeah,
You're like,
it just became a way of life, man. Like rather like because there's always going to be people that believe in you and people that don't, right? I feel that like okay, so from the time that I was released from Baltimore and still dealing with my injury, from the time to so Baltimore, 2 years of no football, then 2 years of CFL football, then 2 years of NFL football, right? In all of that, there was not a time to where I felt like anybody in the world believed that I was going to make it back to the NFL other than me. And maybe my mom and a couple
yeah,
people that
yeah,
love
yeah,
me, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the reality is like nobody else, like I truly felt like, yeah, I mean, if I was to never make it back or play again, nobody would really notice. And that's the
Yeah.
reality of it. Like
Yeah.
football, it's a dime a dozen. There's going to be new players, there's going to be new stars. Like that's just what it is. So but to say that knowing my belief, right? My belief in myself, like I never even would have made it back as to this point if I didn't hold on to that belief in myself, right? To be out the league, like truly, to be out the NFL for 4 years and then make it back and play and compete at a high level, like it's not heard of. There's not too many people that are doing it or willing to do it because it wasn't easy. I had to buckle down and work my ass off and do everything a professional athlete would do without being paid professional athlete money and believing in myself. I had to create an entire structure, an entire schedule of this from my body to everything for years plus, not even being in the NFL. So the dedication to have to do that and also the mental game you play of man, it's another season's going by. Still, my phone's not ringing. Oh, It's just getting kind of shaky. Like maybe, hey, this team called. Maybe it's, oh no, okay, well, that's the reality of what that life is like. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I had to embrace it, man. Okay, all right, this uncertainty and this unease that I'm in, I just have to find a level of peace here, right? And all this chaotic world, like, okay, I have to find the level of peace to where I can continue to function. And I found that level, and I just said, okay, no matter what happens, whether it's good, bad, I need to stay here. I need to stay here. I need to stay locked in, and I'm gonna keep going. And it's created, so many opportunities for me. Like I said, to make it back to the NFL and play and compete, and even the opportunity now to go to the CFL again and play for Saskatchewan. Like that's all been a product of me just not quitting. All been done a long time ago, and I've just decided that no, I didn't want it to be.
It sounds like, I mean, what we talk about with people too all the time is control what you can control. And you've embodied that, sounds like, from, your mom getting your set at Walmart and
Yeah,
going, I'm going to control what I can control. And if someone comes into my circle and says something different about it, I'm going to either take it as motivation or I'm going to take it as an opportunity to get better.
absolutely.
And I think that's a beautiful way of, I don't know if if that was distilled from your mom or you just naturally in you, but I think so many people can learn from that. One question I have for you is, if you were to say anything to your to a younger athlete,
Mm-hmm.
say somebody who's like, hey, I'm really good, but I got injured, or hey, I'm really good, and these things kind of happen. What would you say to them?
I would tell them to really search, their heart and their thoughts, because there's nothing guaranteed ever, right? And that's just the game we play. As athletes, it's never guaranteed, and never, unfortunately, everybody doesn't get the Cinderella story. And that's okay. Like there's lessons and there's blessings in all of that, right? Like my story I could have been Hall of Fame or a gold jacket, that would have been incredible, right? But who I am today and the lessons and the values that I have now, like I don't think I would trade that for the world, right? And I would tell any athlete that is, they're there and they've gotten hurt, okay, if that's happened, all right, do you believe in yourself? Right? Do you believe, regardless on how bad it hurts? Because when I had my surgery, I'm going to tell you, when I had my wrist surgery, literally was like, I will never be able to do a push up ever again. I'll never be able to do a push up ever again. I'll never be able. That's how much pain I was in. I truly thought that, and I was walking around bracing myself at like naturally, because I was scared of contact to my arm. If anybody would just bump into me, it would just be a surge of pain. Like that's how bad my wrist was. So to be now strong as ever, doing one arm push-ups, bench pressing, pull-ups, all of that, right? If I would have believed those words that I told myself back then, could I have gotten here? Would I be in this position? Is it the same? No, it's not the same. But I made it the best that it can
Yeah,
possibly be. If all I got is 85% in this arm, well, I'm maxing at 85.
yeah,
I'm going to push it, because even 85 is more than enough for me,
mhm,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So I would tell those guys, like, or women, ladies, hey, believe in yourself. Keep going. Why not? Why not? Why not take the path that everyone else is afraid to take?
Well, and I love how you framed it too, because you took that injury and said, "Let's see what happens." Like the expectations may be different of where pre, but I mean, your 85% is a lot better than a lot of 100% of other people. Or it's being able to go, how do I use this to my advantage?
Right.
How do I take what this arm gives me and strengthen stuff over here that I wasn't working on?
I literally, like my whole move set, I had to create an entire new move set to use from this side. From if I'm rushing on this side with this arm up, to where if I'm rushing like this, I
Mm-hmm.
have an entirely new move set, but I had to develop it,
Yeah.
because it was like, wow, like some of the stuff that I used to be able to do, I don't have the same strength and the same ability to get my hand because of my wrist. I mean, I had 3 surgeries. So it's like, okay, all right, I can't necessarily do that stuff, but I can be really good, really, really, really good at doing this other stuff. And so I just developed that. And now you wouldn't even be able to tell unless I told you necessarily, like, yeah, you know, my wrist, I've torn my pec, I've torn the wrist, I've destroyed my wrist on the same arm. It's just because, all right, it goes down. All right, I'm gonna reinforce it. I'm gonna figure out a way. You just can't allow yourself or other people to create a barrier for you. And it
Yeah.
starts with yourself. Like, you can't let you create that barrier. Because I've been injured and I've been through it when you've had to rehabilitate yourself and do all those things. And, you know, the biggest barrier is, man, will I ever be, or will I ever feel, you know, will I ever get back to, right? And those are the thoughts that even sometimes now I'll be like, I think I'm gonna do something that hurts, and it's like
Yeah.
I didn't even feel anything, but
Yeah.
it's here, right?
Yeah. It's the mental side. I remember when we were at the group home where we worked with kids, and in the foster care system. One of the phrases my wife and I would say all the time, because there'd be situations, wouldn't be physical, but it would be like mental side of you're trying to kind of do this mental jujitsu with the girls and talking about it. And when we'd fail and we'd learn from it, we thought about the story of in the Bible. It's for David and Goliath. You know, story. You know, David brought his sling out and slayed the giant. And what we talk about is like we're doing the best we can with what we're given. You know, David slayed his giant with a slingshot, and everyone would have looked at him and gone, "That's dumb."
Right.
He's gonna, you know, everyone was trying to talk him out of it. So we even carried that phrase with us is we're doing the best we can with what we're given. I mean, you were given, you know, your opportunities, and then you had a wrist injury, and then you're going, okay, what am I? How can I do the best what I'm given now? It may be less on this side of my body, but I can still strengthen this side or do something different. And so I think that's just how I think about that of opportunities. I learn from them, but also it's giving you some sort of grace to say, I'm just doing the best I can with what I'm given. I didn't know. I didn't know that this was the way you're supposed to do it. I didn't have that experience, but I've learned from it now, and now
Mhm.
I'm a better person from it.
For
So
sure.
I mean, if you were trajectory first round draft choice, this Hall of Famer, like, what kind of person would you be different than what you are now?
I mean,
Like,
me and my and it's crazy. Me and my girlfriends, we talk about these type of things, and I'm
okay,
like, who I was before all of this, I don't think I would have been in the greatest of, you know. I don't think, not to say I would have been a bad person,
yeah,
but I don't think I would have had the same values that I have
yep,
right now. And the type of values and the type of person that I'm trying to be right now, I think is I wouldn't trade that, bro. Like I just feel so much better. I feel whole. And it's like with all when I had all the money in the world and was able to do everything, I didn't have that wholeness. I didn't have that peace. Like you think when you're a superstar or whatever and you get all this money, like no, it just creates more distractions, right? It doesn't create a wholeness. Like now I feel centered, right? I feel good about
great,
myself. Like I wake up and I have values and things that I chase after, and you know it's all things that are not dictated by like the outside world. It's
mm-hmm.
like what makes Shane feel good on the inside? Like, who do I want to be? Like, what characteristics do I want to teach to my kids? And I think, like, once you get to that point, it's like, man, like, it's worth it. You know, it's worth it. It's some stuff sucks, but it's worth it.
It's a perspective. I mean, I think you look at perspective, and if you're able to take that, I mean, I look at that, you know, going back to that baseball story, I look at perspective, and I go, yeah, I could have, you know, I wouldn't have played Major League Baseball at all in that sense. I would have had a good season. But now I'm able to take that and go, no, I learned a lot from that. Like that really grew me, and it's into the person that I am today. One thing I do want to ask before we go, because this has been great. I love this. Like
Hey, I appreciate you having me on, Dallas.
this has been awesome. Every time I come in and do a conversation like this, it's like I never know what's going to happen. But this has been so good. I know we've given you or you've been working on the CalmBox a little bit. It's a device, cranial electrical stimulation device for people that don't know what it is. But one of the stories that I love about what we were talking about, like you using it, and you know, was your story of having a really great game at COD.
Yes, yes,
But tell me a little bit about how you're using it,
right.
and that story, because I still laugh at that.
Yeah, seriously, man. So, you know, I got the CalmBox from you at the golf event, and I was like, okay, I'm for everybody who doesn't know, like, I'm all in on finding ways to heal myself, and especially since like I had wrist surgery, I've been like super holistic and trying to just find anything I can do to be a better version, right? Better version of me and heal my body. So the CalmBox, I was like, all right. As soon as I got back, I'm like, let me just start seeing how it works. So one of the first times that I got to really use it, I had used it before I had got on the game, right? And just testing it out. And then I got on Call of Duty and it was like, and I'm pretty good. I'm good. I'm not like pro good, but I'm like regular person good, like, and I was just flowing this day. And I was just like, bro, it was like the thoughts to the fingers to the thumbs to the controller. It was just felt like Neo in the Matrix. Like no lie, no lie. And I was just like, wow, like I felt really clear there, and I didn't realize that basically I activated my brain,
Yeah.
jump started my brain, and that's why I was able to just respond how I was responding on the video game. So that was like one of the first instances I was like, okay, let me try incorporating the calm box in like, my training and my reading. And another time that I used it was I'm terribly, terribly afraid of heights, and I have crazy plane anxiety, and I've flown hundreds of times, and I still go through the same type of anxiety triggers every time. Like I get on the plane, we takeoff happens, I have to sit by a window, have to sit by, the wing so I can see the wing. And like I go through this like reaction to where like my palms will start sweating. I can feel my breathing and my heart beating, like, and it's like seriously every time. And I'm to the point where like I try to coach myself through it. It's something that like even though I know that it's happening and I'm conscious of it, it's like I still have to deal with it. So I tried the calm box out. It's like, okay, let me try and see if this helps soothe me. And I will say I was able to go through the flight with a lot less like body stress. Like I feel a lot of like total body stress from when I get on the plane, and it just felt like okay, I was manageable. Like okay, I was a lot more calm. My thoughts weren't like panicky or nothing like that, and I just felt more relaxed. So those were for sure two times where I was like, okay, CalmBox is on something, right? It is activating something in my brain that's allowing me to, get through these type of moments, right? And being calm, playing Call of Duty, and being
Hmm.
able to focus in flow state and go crazy, or being able to calm down from, anxiety on a flight. So I'm more excited to use it before a game. I'm super excited to use it before a game to see how much faster I'm able to access like my flow state and to be able to lock in and feel like just that neurological just response time, right? Like just like you want that response time from like your controller to the monitor,
Hmm.
right? For on card, right? Like that response time from my brain to being able to do my move and my reaction time. I'm super excited to see what it does with that. So, so far, man, I'm all in on CalmBox and what it can do. And I even got my little girls on it. They're like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Come here, let me shock your brain."
Yeah. Let me see. Those are great examples. I mean, there's actually a research paper on esports and using the calm box as you're doing esports, and they call it doping for your brain.
Crazy.
So it is. So when you told me, I was like, actually, there's
Actually,
there's a research study on this, but it was just really cool because you brought it up. I was like, yeah, I didn't tell you about that. I would just say,
no,
hey, use it in the morning, use it at night. Try to kind of go for your progression. And you're like, hey, something happened.
it happened, bro. I swear. And I play the game, bro. So I know. Like
Yeah,
I was like, all right. I'm just lighting it up right now.
yeah,
And
yep,
I would say, okay, for anybody who plays COD, I'm an average 9 to 16 to 17 per game, right? That's
okay,
pretty good on Warzone,
yep,
right?
yep.
Bro, 22, 23, 24. And I was just like, all right.
And also,
What's the coincidence that I use the comm box and play Call of Duty and go crazy?
yeah, and your boys were also saying stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah,
You're
they
like,
were
what's
like,
going on?
what is it? What is going on? I'm like, they was like, oh, he's over there locked in. He's cheating. He's locked in.
Yeah,
I'm like, man.
and that's always the goal. I think with the Calm Box, it's focus calm or calm focus, and that's from Tim Galway. Tom Galway is the father of like mental performance. He's like, calm focus is what is the ultimate goal of competing is being in a place that you're calm but you're ready to react.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what the Calm Box does. It just gives you a little bit of that boost of whatever else is going on around you, whatever your brain's overactivity is. It's like, hey, let me just turn it down a little bit so you can, focus
Right.
on what it is. And then also the anxiety side of it. It's saying, hey, your body's okay. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I get nervous on a plane, probably not to the extent that you do, but I still go, all right, let's, kind of figure it out. But I'm able to kind of manage it, a little bit more. But, for somebody who has this trigger event,
Mm-hmm.
which is heights, planes, this type of thing, your body's just going to go, you don't like this. Why are you doing this again? Like, they don't understand that you need to get from point A to point B. They just go, why are you doing this again?
Why are you
Like,
doing this? Like, this
I
is torture.
don't like this. You
You're
don't
right.
like this, type of a thing. So what the Calm Box is able to do is just to let that part of your brain go, you're fine. You're fine. And I know you need to go in a little bit, but this has been fantastic.
Thank you.
To sign off for this, how can people follow you? How can people say, hey, I want to follow the Shane Ray story? What do they do?
Yeah, I mean, I still have my social on Instagram, so you can follow me at Stingray56. I don't really tweet, so I wouldn't even give out
It's fine.
my is it Twitter now? My ex. Yeah,
Your ex,
so
whatever it is. I don't care.
it's Instagram for me, but you know, I plan on being a lot more vocal with my story and trying to share it for people. If wherever that comes up soon in life, I will be available.
Well, you've been amazing. I love it, and I'm so excited about doing this journey with you and being a support in any way that we can. I mean, this story's been awesome, so I love it. So thank you so much, and
Man, I
we will
appreciate
sign
you,
off.
Dallas. Man,
Absolutely.
thanks a lot, man. I'm gonna talk to you soon, man.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
All right, Dallas.